everyone, and welcome to WinCat Sports. Today, we are going to talk about the Lions and Teddy Bridgewater. Surprisingly, still in the talks with the Lions. He is doing a tryout with them right now. That would help out your backup QB situation. I feel like that means Nate Sudfeld will be gone.
Oh yes, I certainly. It's kind of like the last, or should be the last piece of the puzzle for this year at least. We were wondering if they were going to go ahead with Nate Sudfeld, and um, that you. There's no doubt Teddy Bridgewater would certainly be a big upgrade. I would think um, over him, and so you got your insurance in case Jared Goff goes down if they end up signing him. I think that has to go down within the next week or so
Yeah, if
because they're
anything,
starting. They've already got training camp going on, so they need to get him in here. He needs to make a decision pretty quick. I totally forgot about him because that was like what, a couple months ago that
yeah,
was mentioned.
uh, they
Um,
they apparently made a strong offer to him in April, and I guess he didn't take them up on it, which means they did have a chance to sign him, and he decided to take a step back, and maybe he thought he could get
and he did.
a
He
better
did.
deal somewhere else
And he
potentially. He hasn't done much though the past few years, so I mean he's been a backup, hasn't started any games, I don't believe, in the past couple of
no,
years.
I
But
really. I thought he did. I thought he had some. Um,
he was with the Saints for a little bit with Dan Campbell. So I mean there is that kind of connection between Bridgewater and Campbell, which might be pretty good to have for your backup, to have at least a capable one. Um, he hasn't been a primary starter since 2021 when he was on the
only
Broncos.
only a couple years. Yeah.
Um, but that he would not be bad at all as a
Well, no,
backup.
I mean,
He
as the
he
backup.
definitely would be an upgrade over Sudfeld, I believe. However, I heard Sudfeld was doing pretty good
Right.
for at camp
I
this year.
mean, I certainly that's up to the coach. I mean, if he thinks that Nick Sudfeld can, he's going to take. They're in a position where they're going to take the better guy. If they think Teddy Bridgewater is that much better and is going to make that much of a difference, I'm sure that they will, pay a little extra to get him to come here for a year. Um, then again, like I said, that's up to them. If they think that Nate can fill that gap if something happens. No, we're all worried because of we haven't had that. We were stuck with Boyle
Yeah, yeah.
and
Blau.
Blau, and they both were incapable of winning games when Goff went down, and that's what we need. We need something to at least be able to be a bandage if Goff goes down, and why not? I don't think anyone could argue with that move if they get
Yeah,
him.
I think it's going to come down to how well his tryout does. Right between right if Bridgewater is playing all right, coming out of not really doing much over the past few years, and you have confidence in him, that's one thing, right? But also you have somebody in your system who you're kind of confident with at this point. So that might get you away from giving extra money to Bridgewater and maybe saving that for a trade deadline piece or someone else that might pop up.
I think most of us feel, unless there's something in the works we don't know about, a Cooper Cup type thing, that really they're pretty set. I mean, we got 5 weeks. We're going to be there in 5 weeks to watch them play, and I think they're pretty much done. A backup quarterback certainly would be a good thing to have until Hooker is ready, which would probably be next season.
Yeah,
And
probably.
signing Teddy for a year would be, I think, a very smart move. Um,
Other things surrounding training camp. There was news that the same day that CJ Gardner Johnson went down with an injury in his day to day, same thing happened to Jameson Williams. He got hurt the same day. It looks like he might be day to day too. It's like a
that's
hamstring kind of thing. But he
it,
has 6 extra weeks to heal up anyways. So
right, and
whatever happens, happens.
that's just part of the game. Every team is going through that. Every team loses players. It's that's a big factor. We've said it many times. Nothing can really happen to Goff, or otherwise this team is not going to go anywhere without it. And
Yeah.
that's to be said for most of the teams and their starting quarterbacks. That's why a guy like Teddy Bridgewater would be somebody who we could win games with, and that's what you want. You want a guy who can step in there, maybe win one or two games, especially if we're playing a opponent that isn't all that good.
Yeah.
Um,
You
the
should.
quite big question, like I said, none of us knows if we can win a game with Nate Sudfeld. I think
I don't know
most
how
people feel
confident
no.
you'd be with Nate Sudfeld, and I don't know how confident you really should be in Teddy Bridgewater, right? Because again, he hasn't played, so he's not going to be as good as he was when he started.
If they sign him, they must have some confidence in him, I would think.
Yeah.
If they sign him, then they sign him for a reason because they believe he can uh, fill that gap. And they don't think Nate can. Because if they think Nate could win games, if they think they can win Nate, I don't think they're going to sign Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah.
There's just no reason to. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm pretty well. Like I said, it wouldn't. This team is set the way it is right now, and anything extra, I'm not going to have that big of a thing. I love the idea of trading for Cooper Kupp if that happens. But
I think if they make any kind of trade, it would end up being defense. Probably.
The only thing on defense I really see a weakness at is linebacker, and they're not going to trade for a linebacker.
No, there's always the news of them trying to get a lineman here.
I'm pretty happy with the depth of the
but
line.
McNeil coming out of training camp too. He's lost weight. He looks like he'll be better.
Yeah,
he's
made improvements every year. So I'm expecting him to be actually.
You'll have probably McNeil and Pascal in the middle.
DTs in the league.
Right. We'll have McNeil and Pascal up the middle. Pascal getting his first full year,
and Broderick Martin
in the middle as a rookie,
and we got Bugs or Suggs or whatever the name is.
Your line is actually pretty deep. There is a lot of room.
They have depth in the middle. They got Hutchinson and Harris and Houston to rush the passer on the end. I don't know. I'm excited about seeing what this defense can do because it improved last year at the end. It was not a bad defense. So I'm excited. They're certainly going to get a big test right out of the gate. I mean, you got the best offense or one of the best in the NFL with Patrick Mahomes. So we certainly will see what happens.
The only thing with Kansas City is their wide receivers aren't as good as they used to be, and that's where you can fill in. But staying on with the Lions, I think they'll be good, and they don't really need to go after anybody else. Bridgewater comes, that's good. You get somebody else, we'll see what happens. But with that being said, right, if you like what you see, leave a like, comment, subscribe, share the video. And until next time, hope to see everybody soon.